What's up, mateys? It's me again. I'm back again. So we're gonna do is today is Monday, November 12th, 2018 today. Smackdown Live Invasion of the Monday Night Wall was in the 99 one of the decides the third time for the SmackDown Live that takes turns at about Monday Night Raw, just about since 3 years ago, since three times about the 3 years. So Ronda Rousey was very also completely attacked by Becky Lynch in her locker room for one of the reasons. She's also very undecidedly to disarm her for Rousey, and Lynch has the pain for this for the left one arm for the reason it dislocated for the broken loose. Not disagreement on it tweeted on Instagram today. So either the Ronda on the road today and about full time on Raw. In the World Wrestling Entertainment, Raw Invasion by SmackDown Live for the nine women's divisions is usually they could be and getting a good job doing a good job there by exceptional for the confrontation altogether for Stephanie McMahon, the commissioner, and the acting general manager Barry Corbin. Most of substance was sustained for the engaged for the Becky Lynch leaders, Charlotte Flair, Naomi, Asuka, Lana, Carmella, the iconics Manny Rose and Sonya Deville once invades the fight against Tamina, Nia Jax, Making James, Alicia Fox, the Riot Squad. Maybe it come to temporarily tiredness of fight each other for the Sasha Banks and the Bailey, and Ember Moon and Natalia was out today, so they're in the inside to the backstage for now for the left from arena. So Ronda was rescuing the helps Raw women's division each other. So yeah, Ronda has a little bit. Ronda has contemporarily former failed today for when for fighting the invasion to while they're walking back upstairs to the stage today to the arena. That's the size Chad Patton, Ross Zapata, John Cone, and it usually Raw addresses of SmackDown Live on Survivor Series on Sunday. Um, so you know, just because we never know to November 18, 2018 on 2018 at Los Angeles, California Staples Center is usually to be on sacrifice to notice these things for the Warriors and the Team Raw and Team SmackDown Live will fight each other on Monday night, Tuesday night. Usually they could to the on Total Divas on E. So the Bella Twins did not notice it about watching each other, and it especially the nine women's cavalry, and the nine cavalry is Ronda has very disappointed for Becky Lynch, and she was disarmed for she's not tapping out under her locker room, and Adam Pierce and tries to kick Becky out for her Rousey's locker room, and if it tries to use if we could, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch this on reaction there on Instagrams, YouTube's, everything, anytime. Something like that. That are definitely, if at different times, just to announce for Alexa Bliss, she was a captain, by interrupted by Becky Lynch on reaction to each other. So what he could is, so Rousey has the one arm while he's a little bit injured by Becky Lynch with disarm her flock, and she was very little injured, and she had to the pain from Rousey while she did. while she did for our last kicker, as she calls baddest bitch on the planet. She will have to fight. She will have to fight on a champion versus champion each other, and that has it really good. That's a very ungoodable fight. In the baddest woman on the planet has to have been in about 6 years ago. That's the notified to the for the um, mixed martial arts and let's call it MMA and action today. Ultimate, she was the opportunity is Ronda does have a very decided to wait until Survivor Series, and Becky Lynch doesn't have to get her control. And while she's tweeting on each other in about for 3 times on 3 weeks, and the confrontation is Becky and Ronda was brawling each other under the backstage. She was just undecided to see many times. If it caused one arm a little hurt or injured, and she would have to do better than for how she would tell those guys on the UFC and each other, and if we visited for his husband Travis, probably his the good friend Brock Lesnar. He was the Universal Champion will be against WWE's World Wrestling Entertainment Champion AJ Styles, who would be decided to the Smackdown Invasion Raw would be the women's invasion, and that will be the unnotified for the Sanctuary. So tomorrow night SmackDown Live will be going to able to the Raw coming into the SmackDown Live on Tuesday night. Two of the Invades to the SmackDown superstars will have to the broken each other, have to the broken lose. If it favors if it get lost or if it get win, and same thing at the same time, however it takes. As to the biggest of the good mistake, the good honor mistakes is Ronda has the good winners. She is an armbar lark. She is the winning streaks, just like Asuka wanted to have the winning streaks, much sort of like being from the 2015 to 2018, about 3 years since Asuka wins the streaks on NXT to Raw, and so Ronda has a good point for Becky Lynch. Was it disappointed for the painful reasons, and disarm her for the Ronda's left arm. She was unsuspendable for she was spend for payments for any time. Many times to the different wise. Since ever they raise up to using the no words war of words to Raw or SmackDown, to ever to be lifted about times, just however, if we're willing to take care of it for the first really interesting, the first one of the more any time, it does have a good point, and Becky has does a good point for Ronda, and Ronda has a good point for a while. It's disrespectful for Becky while he's fighting in her locker room in about last 20 minutes ago. And before the Riot Squad, Alexa Bliss, Mickie James, Alicia Fox, and Nia Jax and Tamina was freak out while he's a little bit broken arm for Rousey, while she did it by Becky Lynch. I don't know Becky what she did. I was a little bit freaked out for the last 15 minutes ago. She was very disappointing. She was very disappointed by Shane McMahon on SmackDown Live, the commissioner. Stephanie was addressing his brother, the acting general manager Barry Corbin, and was ever to the address general manager Smackdown page, and she was a former career on the 4 years in the World Wrestling Entertainment under the main rosters. And she was designed, and she was designed about that, and however, one of the invasion, the producer, cameraman, civilians, and referees and security guardians has it about very very good idea, and while goes to the coming in, we'll be able to the ambush on SmackDown Live, and those guys have taken the turns what they did to the Raw today from last night, Raw today from now, and so next night, so that would be that would be about the minimum wage. Those would be raised about you. Those would be raised about us. A lot of those people are definitely. So my favorite times would be about my favorite brand. My favorite brand WWE is Raw today. So that would be in a fight. That would be against the SmackDown Live, and that should be the War Games on Saturday, under the Undisputed Era fighting era against by the War Raiders, Pete Dunne, Ricochet, and Willie Regal just announced will be saved for the War Games. Just has to debut today. So Shayna Baszler and the Four Horsewomen, Jessamine Duke, Marina Shepard, and Ronda Rousey, well known to the true bouts. If that truth is, and that's it has to the goodest of the idea. Becky has an armbar like by Ronda Rousey, and Rousey wins still on Survivor Series. That should be the goodest of the are, and that would be wins hardest he can to defeating Becky Lynch for Survivor Series. The idea is, as good as they are, and Corbin and McMahon did not notice this is about reaction there. He didn't get the job done. He did a good job done. He would definitely what was going to happen for Raw Invades by SmackDown women's rosters. And no, we did not know what happened. And they came in for the Kansas City, Kansas, of our Kansas State. We didn't know that. We didn't know that, mateys. We don't know that. So Rousey leads to for the 12 women's invasions was the happenings for And that has to be good. And that's the greatest of all time. That team Wallace has 12 will fight against 11 of them and being decided. That shows them for the over and over again. And we war words for once more. That wants you once again. And I'm gonna go to bed right now, so it's almost 11 now, so I'm gonna head back to get an A back in the gym, so tomorrow morning. So alright guys, so tomorrow is SmackDown Live. Today will be Raw coming in from the SmackDown Live, Invades the brawling, fighting, and broken loose each other. Don't forget to hit the button to subscribe to my content, so you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or find cameras, Cock Story, Talk, Tumblr, anywhere, Hangout, anywhere. So like the comments and links in the description today. So keep on the prayers for Roman Reigns today on leukemia, and his wife and his children, his friends, and his brother Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, and one of you, each other. Truly love you guys. So love you guys. So don't forget to buy tickets now on St. Louis on standard each other seats, and stand up and rise on National Anthem Day on Smackdown Live today. We're definitely, you're doing well. So love you guys. Feel free to be dead. So don't forget. So Rousey is being already addressed for Becky Lynch today. That's a for liability today. Feel free. Do not forget. So keep it rich, mateys. So good night.